You are listening to the only show where a former police officer, alongside a current law school student, tackle politics, the legal system, and corruption. The show, known around the world as Qualified Immunity. You ready?
Sure.
Are you ever actually ready?
What are we talking about?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Not okay. We're not actually talking about her. Because
Are we talking about Supreme Court appointments?
yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Well, ish. Well, I say ish. Yes, we are. Like, it's just one of those catch-22s of, is it hypocrisy that's going on, or is it all?
Usually the answer to that question is yes.
Here's my point though. I can see McConnell's point.
You want to explain that? McConnell's point. What was McConnell?
McConnell's point.
What
Mitch
did McConnell
McConnell.
say? Is probably where we should start.
What?
What did McConnell actually say? Is where we should probably start.
And okay, I'm going to paraphrase this because this is not going to be an exact quote. If any of you listening to this do not know, in the last couple of days, the time you listen to this last week, as Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg
Sounded out.
Well, I always switch the names when I feel bad when I do it. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, otherwise known as RBG, who has become an unlikely superhero of certain groups in the last couple of years, passed away. That being said, in 2016, Justice Scalia passed away.
Yep. That was. Man. Election years are starting to get really
Deadly.
Yeah.
Deadly.
They both just had to die in the election year. Like they just had to.
No comment.
I'm not even in for anything. It's just like you had to do that at that.
Yeah, could you run it like, hold on just for a minute longer? Anyway.
Just another 3 months. Heck, even just 2 more months. What?
Nothing. I mean, like, it's weird.
Is it me? It's me.
No.
No, it's you.
What? Like, I need some weird feedback.
Interesting.
Let's see if that works. Maybe that worked. Maybe. Turn my mic gain down. That's it. That was my gain.
You're supposed to figure out that out.
I thought I had it figured out.
You don't leave that in there.
Of course, I'm gonna leave it in there.
Okay.
People laugh. They're like, "Oh, you edit this and you edit that, and you edit this." I'm like, "No, I really don't."
No. We probably should.
I think we really probably should.
But if we did that, we'd have to record a lot more.
Oh yeah, like you guys do like the first cut.
I think we should just change the name of the show to Uncensored. Like that's.
So the funny part about that is, and I still have the artwork from it. Was I was going to start a podcast when I was in college.
Okay.
And it was called Unfiltered.
That's funny.
And then at the time, the funny part is at the time, 2011-ish, and I would have done it and kept with it.
Yeah.
Who knows where it would have been by now?
Yeah.
But
you did.
Well, the problem, you know what the problem was back then?
In 2011.
There was no such thing as USB mics.
Oh. Yeah. Were they all 3.5?
No.
No. What were they?
To get a decent mic.
Oh yeah, you're right. I know what you're talking about
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Man, that was a long time ago. You
Like-
say 2011, and that doesn't register. I think that was 10 years ago.
yeah, basically, and it was one of those catch-22s of going, I would have had to invest in $5,000 to $7,000 to have the same audio quality we've got right now.
Yeah.
No, I take it back. Because I remember looking at a mic that was $6,000.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, and we like our entire setup in here is less than $2,000.
We are getting so old.
Don't remind me. Like I'm covered in grease right now
Yeah.
from changing the shocks in my truck today.
Yeah.
My truck has a 6-inch lift on it, and I was still trying to. Why does this hurt so bad to get under here? Anyway, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away last week, and Justice Scalia, who was I think one of the better Supreme Court justices. There's a couple of things he said during his lifetime that I disagree with. However, there are some things he has said that I he did say that I wholeheartedly agree with. It's a contract, not a living document.
Okay.
That was Scalia.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Scalia. I mean, he was.
I know why you're not a huge fan of Scalia.
Well.
And I can settle why you're not a huge fan of Scalia in something you said in the last episode. That was settled in 1865.
Actually, I can probably tell you why I'm not a Scalia fan. It's because I'm not a Supreme Court fan. I literally just despise the Supreme Court. And you know.
No. You despise how the Supreme Court opinions are taken.
I despise the way the opinions are done and the way they're used. But I also just despise like the idea of the Supreme Court because the way it's used.
I almost put on social media the other day. You know how everybody says you shouldn't care about other people's opinions and you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. Y'all sure caring a whole lot about people who issue opinions.
Mm.
But I didn't because I didn't want to piss off half the Facebook world.
Why not?
They'd be like,
wait, you didn't want to piss off the Facebook world?
No.
I forget Facebook is still out there.
And Twitter, I don't know if half the people I don't know if people on Twitter really got it. Never mind. I don't know if anybody on social media would really got it. There's some people out there that would have. However, I did not want to spend any time that day arguing in comments about the fact that the Supreme Court only issues opinions, not law. They're there to have an opinion on what the law means, or if the law is constitutional.
I know a lot of law school professors that would disagree with you.
They're not there to make law. In fact, if you believe in the 10th Amendment, the highest court that should make a law or validate or clarify what a law is supposed to mean is at a state level, not a federal level. Hi, federal appellate courts, I'm looking at you.
Federal well, okay.
Most precedent in the United States is at the appellate level.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking federal district court, which actually, to a large degree, they do use state law. Most people don't realize that.
But that's what I mean. And most people don't realize most precedent is actually set at the federal appellate level.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens gets appealed, the states will generally side with the verdict, and then they take it to the appellate level. And the irony is, if I say federal appeals court, what do you automatically think of?
Usually, I think of circuit courts.
What number?
The Ninth Circuit.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's not even our circuit court.
And you know what's even funnier? They're not the most liberal.
No. I will say they are pretty unpredictable, though.
They are 100% unpredictable.
They are unpredictable.
Because in the last 5 years, the 10th Circuit,
Yeah.
in which we belong to,
Yeah.
has been more liberal than the 9th Circuit.
I believe that. That's not surprising considering the history between.
This competition, it could be more liberal.
Well,
You just try English.
I'm a history major. You can tell. I think you can tell a lot from history if you look at the origin of the states in each circuit. You can tell a lot about what's going to be going on in the future. Because Oklahoma, people talk about Oklahoma being a conservative state. It's really not.
It's really not.
It's not a conservative state. It's a progressive state.
Okay, our framework is progressive. I'll put it that way.
Well, and because our framework is so progressive, we're a populous state. I mean,
No,
we are unbelievably populous, and people from
that is
Oklahoma don't even understand.
that is part of the reason that can never gain traction in Oklahoma.
Yeah, because Trump is a very populous president.
Yes. Like, the reason Joe Jorgensen can never gain real traction in Oklahoma is one, lack of education. Just to start. And when I say lack of education, I am not talking about secondary school or high school or college education. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking lack of basic civic education on what this country actually is.
Yeah.
'Cause
I don't think that's an Oklahoma problem, though. I think that's an everywhere problem.
that's an everywhere problem, but the Trump divide, the Trump-Obama divide, excuse me, because everybody believes this started with Trump. It really didn't. This started in 2008 with Obama.
Yeah.
And quasi even slightly before that, but the gloves came off in 08.
Yeah.
The gloves hands down came off in 08. And Obama won it. Barack Obama to this day is a super charismatic person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I actually don't mind listening to Obama. And when he writes something, like his blog.
Were you the one that sent me that speech the other day that was it his speech or his blog that, let me tell you about my friend Joe Biden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's got points.
Yeah.
I would never vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Well,
there's one way I'd vote for Joe Biden.
Okay. Well, anyway.
There's one way I'd vote for Joe Biden.
How's that?
If Tulsi was his VP. Because at this point, you're not voting for Joe Biden, you're voting for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Which they keep saying rebuild better. I'm like, what are you rebuilding?
Yeah.
Like, your slogan is supposed to inspire people and make sense. And the problem is your slogan makes no sense at all.
I mean, I understand what they were going for, but I don't think that's what they're actually communicating. Like, I don't think,
one, Joe Biden is not communicating anything.
Yeah.
I've said this a million times. I feel sorry for Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really do, because this is my honest opinion. Maybe prior to Ginsburg's passing, but my honest opinion is the Democrats don't want to win.
No, I had that discussion with my mother the other day. She was trying to convince me to vote for Trump, and I told her Joe Biden's not going to win this. He's not designed to win this. This is setting Harris up for 2024.
Well, and did you hear the other day that there's already a Republican that said he's going to run in 2024?
Who?
Ted Cruz.
Okay, that's not surprising.
Like, he's already basically said he's running in 2024.
Yeah. Fantastic. Are you a Cruz fan? Just curious. A little bit. No.
I voted for him in the primary.
Okay. Didn't vote for Rand. That's disappointing.
He already dropped out.
Yeah, I still voted for him.
Yeah. Like, it was Rand and Cruz, and then somebody else.
Yeah.
Right, talk about somebody else.
It wasn't Trump, was it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well then. Okay.
Because you're gonna wholeheartedly judge me when I tell you who was number 3.
I think I know who it was, but
Who?
It wasn't Rubio, was
It
it?
was Rubio.
Okay. That fits. That fits.
Oh, how does that fit?
I don't know.
I
it doesn't-
can't wait to hear this. How does that
It
fit?
just doesn't surprise me that you would vote for Rubio because Rubio is. I don't even know how to say that. I would say Rubio's not really conservative, if that makes sense.
I think Rubio's the most honest.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that because
Outside of Rand. I would say that outside of Rand.
yeah, because if he was actually dishonest and trying to win at any cost,
I think Rubio's the most honest.
yeah. Well, if he wasn't, I mean, he would be saying different things. Like he wouldn't seem so moderate.
Yeah,
Which,
but that goes back to the catch-22. Like, I take that whole test about being, the Foursquare political ideology test.
yeah.
I don't know how to vote for Rubio. I just some of my family members voted for Rubio.
Okay. He actually performed reasonably well in Oklahoma. Was he number 2?
I believe, yeah.
Oh, Trump was number 3, wasn't he?
Trump was 3.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Because it was Cruz, Rubio, and Trump.
Cruz was number 1.
Yeah, because I held a sign for Cruz on primary day.
I've forgotten how 2016 primary shook out. That was an interesting year.
That was the year where Cruz tried to pull it out at the very end and pick Carly Fiorina as.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was so stupid.
I might have done it. It had to be Alaska Jeffers.
Yeah, he was desperate.
Promise people could see desperation.
Yeah, that's why it was a bad idea because everybody saw that and was like, what are you doing? It's like we can all tell what's going on here.
But no, the problem is nobody expected Trump to do what Trump did.
Yeah, that's true. Do you remember like the weird hand grab thing with Fiorina? No, okay.
No.
There was like some. They were on stage. I don't even remember what the event was. It was after. I think it may have actually been the 5 minutes where they announced that pairing that they were going to run together. And like she came out on stage and he like grabbed her hand and like raised it in the air and she was like fighting him. It was awkward.
Yeah, like,
so incredibly awkward. But it was like 30 seconds and people just went nuts over it.
So strange.
Yeah.
And then now it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, nobody remembers that. Nobody talks about that. So
Nobody talks about Joe sniffing everybody's hair either, but
that's true.
I really got to start saying Biden.
Joe, not Joe.
Joe, not Joe. Like,
Other way around though, because we're talking about sniffing. Yeah. Joe Jorgensen's probably the least creepy candidate that we have right now.
Joe Jorgensen's so like human.
Normal.
Yeah. Normal.
She's not sniffing kids they're talking about.
Don't say it. I don't want to get chewed out by Apple again.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking about, and I don't want another email from Apple Podcasts.
Did we
we're
get in trouble?
7.
We got in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
We get in trouble once a week
Oh,
on Apple Podcasts.
I'm so proud of us. I didn't know
And
that.
Spotify gets about every other week.
I didn't know that.
We're like, you can't say that.
But they don't do anything.
No, because I always reply with one thing. I copy and paste the First Amendment in the email and reply to it.
Okay, well, whatever.
This goes to all the stuff you don't see that happens behind the scenes.
People listening don't realize how little work I put into this.
I don't remember what happened a couple weeks ago. Oh yeah, there's one episode that we just did that's gotten taken down. I had to put back up like twice now.
Oh.
because I may or may not have gone on a rant about qualified immunity.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was fun times.
Because apparently it violates terms of service and contracts and yada 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 yada. I don't know. I literally am about to start putting the middle finger emoji when I send back the email that copy and pastes the First Amendment. Like, well, we're not government, therefore it doesn't apply to us.
Have you gotten that response?
Not yet.
No.
Actually, given our own legal defense, but
They probably get your email and they're like, no, I'm not reading that. Junk that.
Spotify responded and said we apologize.
Really?
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Because I know what happens. The algorithm, like the AI takes it down, and I fight it. I send an email. I reply to the email. An actual person reads it. It's like, we apologize. Spotify has less rules than Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
But I'm such an Apple person that I give them the benefit of the doubt. Like,
oh, you gotta stop doing that.
I know.
When it comes to any corporation, I'm like, I don't give any benefit of the doubt.
Not to mention the most valuable corporation in the entire world.
Yeah. Now the individual people, like, I understand their job probably.
The problem is now there's so much AI control on every single thing.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Yeah. I figured out Siri just doesn't like me. Like the big Siri. Inside of Apple Podcasts, she doesn't like me.
You say the big Siri, and I just think of like this holographic head just like floating around.
Oh, what's that movie?
Is it iRobot?
No, there's one that's got Shia LaBeouf in it.
I'm talking about Transformers.
No, it's before that.
I really don't know what you're talking
Where
about.
he supposedly has a twin brother who died, and then there's a big AI controlling. He had a twin brother who worked in the Pentagon at like a secret level, like TSSCI eyes only secret level on this big AI system, and the AI system goes rogue, and it's up to him to stop it, and it's.
Okay.
You're just looking at me like.
I'm trying to think of words to type in to find this movie.
Just go Shia LaBeouf movies.
Eagle Eye?
Eagle Eye, that's it.
Huh. I've not seen that.
Oh, it's good.
Not according to IMDb.
Okay, it was good when I saw it 15 years ago.
Rotten Tomatoes, 26%.
It was good. It came out probably 15 years ago.
2008. So 12 years ago.
Pretty close. I mean, I was like, I know I saw it in high school.
I've heard of it. I've just not heard the plot line.
Yeah. It's interesting. It was totally an anti-Patriot Act movie that
Oh, I'm going to have to watch it now.
like, if you watch it,
I'm going to watch it now.
with the idea that it came out in 08, it started filming in 06.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch it and look, it's totally an anti-Patriot Act movie.
It looks like it did fairly well in its budget return.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Like, it is totally, and it came out in an election year, and it's totally was done for a reason.
Okay. I'll watch that one.
Kind of like there was a movie that was supposed to come out this year that didn't. And will come out next year. About a famous president. So that's all I can say about that, though, and it really bugs me.
Yeah.
Do we tell people?
I'm not telling anybody.
I'll tell you if you.
I mean, it's not like I'm keeping it a secret. It's just like it's.
Lucas is in a movie.
Not yet. you know, I've signed up to be an extra before in movies that we're filming around here, and they just like didn't include my part.
Yeah, that's the bad part.
Yeah.
You can easily get cut out. Anyway, Lucas is an extra in a movie called Reagan that was supposed to come out this year and got pushed to next year. What?
I mean, my part hasn't even been filmed yet, so Well, by the time this comes out, it'll probably be filmed.
What day are you shooting?
Tuesday.
Yeah, this will come out on Wednesday.
Okay. There you go.
Ta-da! So Lucas is on the verge of being this B-list movie star.
B-list.
Don't get an ego.
Novelty grill. Sorry. You know I'm. Do you know what that reference was?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm full of movie references. I drop so many movie references. It's
like people don't understand how bad Lucas wants to get to Hollywood, just not live there. And I'm just gonna be sitting here behind a mic the rest of my life because I have a base for radio.
Agreed. I'm an
You're
extra.
a dick.
Like extras are nothing. Like it does not matter. My only goal as an extra.
The journey of 1,000 miles.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Have you seen?
You would get to Hollywood faster than I would if I decided to start acting.
Have you ever seen North by Northwest with Cary Grant and?
Yes, it's one of my favorite movies.
Is it Ava Marie's name?
Yes.
Yeah. My only goal as an extra, there's a scene in that movie where one of the extras in the background, before it goes off, they like reach up and hold their ears. My only goal is to not be that person.
Did they really?
Yeah, I'll show it to you after this.
Oh my gosh.
It's on YouTube.
I love North by Northwest.
I'll show you the exact clip.
Like, there's that part though where I grew up with older parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my mom, like, to this day, loves Cary Grant.
Yeah,
And that turned into me like idolizing Cary Grant.
Okay, that makes sense. My mom is a huge Cary Grant fan. She has like a little Cary Grant collection. I have a Harrison Ford collection.
I just collection.
It's not even like an actor. It's just.
I can see if I have a candy collection.
It's not like memorabilia or signed anything. It's just movies. Like I have a shelf that's dedicated to Harrison Ford.
See, there's something I really, really want, and I don't think I'll ever be able to find it. Like, I've got a lot of autograph stuff for people I like.
Okay.
But I want a Lane Frost autograph something.
Okay, yeah. I have something on my list that I probably will never find.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how hard it's going to be to find something?
Yep, I know.
Autographed by Lane Frost?
Yep.
When did he die? 91?
I'm going to say 92, but I'm not sure.
I was like, it's 91 or 90. He died like when I was an infant.
89.
Wow, so he died before I was born.
Yeah.
And this is how we go down rabbit holes and keep listeners, because now everybody's going to go Google who Lane Frost is now.
By the way, if you or anybody listening ever finds anything autographed by James Garner, I'm interested, especially if it's Rockford Files related. I'm a huge James Garner fan.
Don't understand that.
Don't understand the James Garner thing or the Rockford Files?
Either.
No. Did you ever watch the name of the Rockford Files?
I think I've seen like one episode.
No. That's why I'm a Pontiac guy.
What's that? He's back down.
Oh, Smoking Bandit. Yeah.
Somebody says I've gotten compared to one of them off and on my entire life, and I've never seen it.
I don't see that.
I was like, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Do I act like anybody from there?
Was it Buford T. Justice?
That doesn't sound like a good
comparison. That's not a good comparison.
Oh, this is why I hate when people compare me to anything.
I think I really hope they're not comparing you to.
I was compared to one of the Moonshiners.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There were two guys.
And people are like, how do you guys get on tangents? This is how.
This is how.
This is how we like. This is how this has become the younger Rogan experience, because people talked about something.
So Burt in that movie, Burt Reynolds.
That's who I get compared to. He's Burt Reynolds.
He's the one that drove the Trans Am, which I think was a 78 or 79. No, I don't think.
But I've never seen it, so I don't know.
I wouldn't draw that comparison with you. That would.
What?
It's probably more like me, actually. Jerry Reed plays a character named Cletus, who I think is the truck driver. Because you've got a truck driver and then you've got the bait car, basically.
Oh.
Did you not know the plot of the movie?
No.
Oh.
I remember the song. If I ever go on a road trip east there, whatever he plays stuff
Yeah.
out.
They're driving a semi cross country, and you've got the semi, and then you've got the Trans Am, and the Trans Am is just driving out front. Yeah.
The funny part is that's a real thing.
Yeah, I know.
Trafficking, but
yeah,
that is legitimately a real thing.
And Jackie Gleason plays I think it's a sheriff.
Jackie Gleason's in that?
Yeah.
Wow.
His I think his character is actually really like inappropriate. Like swears a lot. There may actually be
inappropriate for the time period.
Yeah. I mean, I think there may also be some racial slurs. That's not good. But whatever. It was normal
time
at the time,
period.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, I digress.
It's a good movie. You should watch it.
I did. I don't have any movies left. Remember?
I think I might have a copy of it somewhere. I have lots of movies you would enjoy, actually.
That's probably true. Do you think McConnell's being a hypocrite? Anyway, backstory. Justice Ginsburg has passed away.
Yeah.
McConnell says that what he said in 2016 no longer applies because in 2016, when Justice Scalia died, Barack Obama nominated somebody for the Supreme Court. And the Senate said, we're not voting on it because the Senate was Republican controlled, and said the next president should be the one to nominate somebody. Now, same scenario, except McConnell says it's different because the White House and the Senate is both run by the same party. Therefore, it's not the same scenario. I agree with him it's not the same scenario, but is it hypocrisy? Because, everybody's pushing Trump to nominate somebody just in case.
Yeah.
Which, if you know anything about how the Supreme Court is set up, the flip side of that is Biden wins, you can pack the court. It doesn't actually matter. But you were also talking about this could fundamentally change a lot. It could fundamentally change a lot because you're talking about, and I read this in an article and it was wholeheartedly true. You were talking about pulling John Roberts' flip status. It'd be a 6-3 majority.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean,
and who's being floated? And I can't remember her last name.
See, I haven't even heard that yet.
Oh, I bet I can pick who it's going to be.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Judge Amy. I can't remember her last name. But she's a Catholic with 7 kids. I think it's 7. I want to say it starts with an R.
It's not Barrett, is it?
Yes, Amy Barrett. That's it. Because right now is the time that Trump can get an extremist in there.
Yeah.
Well, what's considered an extremist?
Well, yeah.
Now, okay, you and I have different opinions on this.
Well,
however,
when you say extremist, a president is not going to appoint what I consider an extremist. Actually,
that might be it.
Okay.
That might be it.
I'll have to do some research.
I will tell you this. You want Roe v. Wade overturned?
The Supreme Court's not going to overturn Roe v. Wade.
I don't believe that.
They're going to talk about this, but it's not going to happen.
If Amy Barrett is confirmed to the Supreme Court, they will.
Okay, I doubt it. But
you're talking about the Dan Fisher of judges and Amy Barrett.
Doubt it, but okay.
if you're going to have to get them to pick, the trick
The-
is
the
getting
other-
them to
yeah.
take the case.
The other thing is she still has to be confirmed. I mean, she has to be appointed and confirmed.
Okay, name 3 Republican senators that will defect. I mean, I can name 3. Here's the problem: you need 4.
On the abortion issue alone,
No.
I can think of a lot that would.
I can't.
What do you mean defect?
On confirmation, takes 50 votes to confirm. If there's a tie, Pence breaks it. Name 3. I can name 3 that will defect and vote no and say let the next president do it.
Who do you think those 3 are?
Murkowski,
That's actually
Romney,
the one that I was going to name.
Collins.
Yeah, those were 2 that I was going to name. Were Murkowski and Collins. Who was the other one?
Romney.
Romney. Oh yeah, Romney would.
Here's the trick: you pull the abortion issue,
Yeah.
Romney can't defect.
Oh, I think he still would. He would defect, but he would say, "Oh, it's for other reasons."
I'm not sure it's a good idea for Romney. Not when it comes to re-election. Like, let somebody primary Romney and say he voted against the most pro-life
He'll be fine.
only because of money.
Yeah.
Oh, only because of money.
Money and incumbency.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah. More or less.
Here's the trick, though. You need 4. You get 3. You get those 2 to defect. It's 50-50. Pence breaks the tie. What's Pence going to do? Vote to confirm.
I could actually see Pence not voting to confirm.
What? How?
I don't know.
To what end?
You're getting too far ahead of me here. I'm looking for. I'm looking for those senators that might actually defect.
Good luck.
I could see a senator from a battleground state doing it for political.
I could see a senator from a battleground state who's a Democrat voting to confirm.
Really.
Yep.
That is interesting. That does bring up a really good point because
I know one I bet 100% would vote to confirm on that issue to save his ass in re-election.
Who?
Joe Manchin,
Is that Virginia?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Well,
Okay.
Look that up. It might be no. It's West Virginia.
Pretty sure. West Virginia.
Yeah. So you have Collins, Murkowski, and Romney defect. So Manchin votes yes. Now you need 2.
Was Manchin's a big Trump supporter, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay. He
But he's a Democrat Trump supporter.
right. He was the one that a couple of years ago they
wanted to switch parties.
Yes.
And he wouldn't do it.
Right. Okay, I'm thinking about this. How it's going to be a northern state.
Is there a Republican senator from Michigan?
Let's find out. So you've got Debbie Stabenow.
I know who it would be.
Democrat Party, and Gary Peters. What is in all this? His political party.
No, I know who it would be.
He's a Democrat too. Okay.
The guy in Colorado. He just won a special election.
That would be it. Special elections are that's where we get somebody.
There's your 2, Colorado and Arizona.
Yeah, those would do it.
Because Mark Gabbert's running against.
Are you sure in Colorado? You got Cory Gardner and Michael Bennett, 2015-2009. Cory Gardner's Republican though.
That's it. And Trump's expected to lose Colorado by like double digits.
Yeah, Colorado's one of those. If you had a Republican senator, he would probably vote no on this
I don't see. It's the thing. I don't think they would. I think they'll.
I think you would. Colorado
Who's the
is.
Senate whip right now?
I don't know, man.
I knew who it was like 2 years ago. Because you both know it's a vote against Trump. Which, if you're in a battleground state, the Trump thing can help you. Like Michigan, the Trump thing helps you. He won Michigan.
No, that's not what I'm looking for.
I'm just sitting there going, like, whoever's the whip right now matters. And the problem is people don't understand what that title means in Congress with the Senate. Oh my God! Remind me to send you an article
Okay.
later.
On what?
Something Trump did that I'm like, read this and tell me you don't read it the same way as I do.
Reading between the lines.
No, just read the lines and tell me it's not a direct threat to impose martial law.
Oh, that's fun.
From the mouth of the President of the United States.
Current whips are John Thune
Ooh.
from South Dakota.
Ooh.
And then on the Democrat side, you've got Dick Durbin from
You've got Markowski and Collins. That's it.
Illinois. I think Colorado would vote no.
I don't think Romney takes on John Thune.
Romney's from Utah, right?
Yeah. John Thune's a mean son of a bitch. I'm telling you that right now. He's gonna have dirt on everybody. You're gonna have one hell of a profile like Markowski does or like Collins does to if a vote to the floor in the United States Senate comes, you've got Markowski and Collins, and that's it. Any other thing that has an R next to it, it's not going to take on John Thune because I guarantee you,
You're also assuming this.
especially if you have oil money involved.
You're also assuming that the Republican leadership is going to agree on this deal. And I mean,
I don't think they don't have.
do you think they don't have a choice?
No.
Because if they delay,
Populist country.
right. The other thing is,
And you stick Amy Barrett up there, guess what happens? All the pro-lifers that are a little bit uncomfortable with Trump.
well, that's the thing. You mentioned the Democrat voting pro-life on a confirmation deal.
I can see Joe Manchin doing it.
I could see that. The thing is, and this is why I said Northern State, there's a cross-section between Catholics and Democrats. I mean, it's not as strong as it used to be. It's kind of dying out.
Yeah, because I was Catholic.
But Catholics are very
And what I
pro-life.
named my daughter.
Catholics are very pro-life, but they're also more Democrat than you would actually expect. Than most people would expect.
Well, there's a I can tell you the reason behind that from being Catholic, but
Well, yeah, I'm not.
social welfare is
Yeah.
why.
I'm not arguing why. I'm just saying the pro-life thing is going to be an interesting cross-section on this deal because Catholics are generally pretty pro-life.
Like, I'm old school Catholic.
Yeah, which is very pro-life.
Yeah, like, I'm old school. Like, and people, like, when I told you I was leaving the Catholic Church a couple years ago, you, like, looked at me like,
Yeah,
what?
because that was important to you.
Yeah, like, I was Catholic.
Yeah.
Like, one of those. People didn't really understand the fact that I would sneak off and go to church, and I would sneak off and go to confession. You know?
Yeah.
I say sneak off. Like, people knew where I was going. Like, my wife
Yeah.
knew. Like, I had stuff to do. Oh, there's a Catholic church.
Yeah.
I'll stop and go to confession.
But it's going to be interesting to see if there are any senators from states that are predominantly, that have a large, I don't want to say predominantly, that have a large Catholic segment.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Are there a lot of Catholics in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania? Really? Did not know that.
Pennsylvania and New England.
That's interesting.
Actually, you know what? You want to know what the huge Catholic population? Kansas.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't know that.
And Kansas is honestly starting to become a battleground state.
Yeah. Yeah, with their they've been swapping governors out recently.
But that,
They're both Republican though. Both Kansas senators are Republican right now. Looks like.
that's very interesting. I'll never forget that either. When I think it was in a group text. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the Catholic Church. Nobody said anything in that group text. And then the next time we were in the car together, you were like, really? Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I mean, the funny part was they were doing that campaign at the time, right in the middle of trying to get people who were Catholic but
Yeah.
quit.
What was it? What was the tagline that they used? Was it "Come Home"?
It was come home.
Yeah. Welcome home, come home. So
It was come home.
Yeah. I mean, how would you react if I told you that I was leaving my church? Like actually leaving?
I don't know, because you fit non-denominational so much better
Okay.
outside of your financial cheapness, which you don't really have.
Well, that's the thing. Being part of this denomination is, if it's a part of your heritage, it's actually a piece of who you are.
I mean,
it more so than just being like.
when you trace my heritage back,
Yeah.
you trace it literally back to Belfast, Ireland.
Right. It's roughly the same thing for you.
I'm going, you trace my DNA back, I have been Catholic for
Yeah.
generations.
Yeah. Roughly the same thing.
Catholic and, car bombs, but whatever. Funny part is, I don't like Guinness.
Okay.
Just saying, I don't know. There's an oddity. I really do. Like, one thing I want to do in the next couple of years is go to Ireland. Because just being here.
We'll just take a tour of Europe. It'll be fine.
If Tomorrowland comes back next year,
Well, where do they have that?
boom, Belgium.
Okay. So we can go to Ireland and then go down to Belgium and then go through Germany and then.
You want to go to Wonderland?
Sure, why not?
Don't do this to me, because now I start logistically planning how I can pull this off.
If we end up in
I'm going through my head of how many cars I have to sell.
do you want to know where I want to end up before we come back?
Where?
You're not going to like it.
Where?
Ukraine. Yeah.
To the east.
Yeah.
This is not your trip. You can't just show up for 37 cents. Give the guy a dime. I'm starting my own hotel.
Okay.
You've never seen Euro Trip, have you? Oh my god. When we're done, I have to show you the Euro Trip Eastern Bloc scene because they get on the wrong train and it's awesome. Oh. I don't think you've got. If they get to the floor of the Senate, you don't have the votes to stop a confirmation.
Well, and the other thing is that I can see a strategy where they say, hey, let's put this off until after the election,
Lame duck.
just to put pressure on people.
The problem with that becomes the special elections. because there could,
Yeah.
because as fast as somebody could be sworn in, the election's on the 4th.
Yeah.
You'd have to pull this off between the 4th and my birthday. My birthday's the 13th. Because there's some of them that can be sworn in as early as the 20th.
Right. Well, and they may try to shoot that gap in there. That would be impressive if they could make it. I could see them trying to do that, and they might actually screw it up and not make it.
Me too.
I could see them doing that. Just because we thought of it here.
Although we're good at predicting crap.
I do legitimately think they will try to push this off until after the election.
Why would you do that though?
Just to put more
Because
pressure.
this is the one reason I would push it off till after the election. And I almost said this earlier. All those evangelicals and all those pro-lifers who have been kind of alienated by who Trump actually is,
Yeah.
now have a reason to vote for him.
It's like I texted you the other day. This just became the most important election of our lifetime, quote unquote, because they say that every year, and they're going to say it about this.
I can see it. If you still believe in the system, here's the problem. If you still believe in the current system and you're an abolitionist, I can see how that's a valid statement. The problem is I have no faith left in the system.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely no. You have so many different protected, divided classes. It's like my rant the other day about qualified immunity.
Yeah.
If you need qualified immunity to do your job,
Yeah.
if you need to be protected and not be held accountable for your actions while you're holding other people accountable for their actions,
Yeah.
you're a hypocrite.
I think the difference here is that I'm looking at the appointment as a political tool, not just to keep control or take control of the court. But
The civil liberties side of me is screaming at the idea of Amy Barrett.
for what reason? I mean, explain.
Because if I wanted to live in a religious state, I would move to Iran.
I mean, you live in Oklahoma's pretty close. It used to be really close. It's actually got. I think it's gotten better the last couple of
It's
years.
because DA's gotten smarter and realized people aren't going to handle that bullshit anymore. I'm just saying, like, with the power the Supreme Court actually has nowadays,
Yeah.
not the power they were supposed to have, but the power they actually have, a 6-3 majority can make this a religious fascist theocracy real freaking quick.
That is the
And
one,
that's how you get to the handmaid's tale.
That is the one thing that I find really interesting about this appointment. Not because, it's a 6-3 appointment, we can do so much with this court. It's just that Supreme Court eras, that's what they're built around, is that supermajority.
I know.
When you get that kind of a solidarity on one side of the court, weird things happen.
The problem is, I do like the idea of John Roberts losing this. John Roberts is a big freaking failure in Supreme Court appointments in the last 100 years. John Roberts was supposed to be the next John Jay, and instead he became the next.
Oh, come on, Greg, tell us what you really think.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
Bueller! Like, that. I remember when he got appointed. I was in middle school or high school when he got appointed, and W appointed him, and it was like, oh my god, this is the man. This is the man, and he's been nothing but a total freaking letdown. And then Kavanaugh gets appointed, and Kavanaugh's a freaking fascist.
Interesting.
What?
I shouldn't say that. That's a current politician. I shouldn't say that.
What?
I'll tell you after.
Oh, come on.
I've got a politician that is the same thing. Where I remember when he was elected, and all the news, everything, and I believed it. I thought, oh wow, this is like revolutionary. Like, this is the guy. He's gonna fix it.
Oh my god, who? They're public figures. They can't sue you.
James Langford. when he first got elected to the House, because he was in the House before he ran for Senate. I remember.
Trust me, I know.
On the news, it was like, "Oh, James Langford, he's the guy. He's gonna fix it." And I bought into it. I was in junior high, I think, when that happened.
You do know the backstory behind that, right?
Did you work on his campaign?
No.
Backstory on.
You know who ran against him in the primary? You know who was in the runoff against him?
Who?
Another guy. Who happened to be Catholic.
Yeah.
And who happened to I like a whole lot.
Yeah.
Who is currently just tearing up the middle of the state.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, no, like you start talking about James Langford getting elected to Congress, and I'm like, you don't know how hard, how much sweat, blood, and tears I poured into the other campaign.
I could probably take a decent guess because in 2014 I worked on a Senate campaign against James Langford.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I didn't know that about you.
You know I worked on Calvies?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like, to this day, Kevin Calvi should be in Congress.
Interesting.
100% Kevin Calvi should be in Congress.
The difference is I worked on a campaign that was obviously not going to win. I mean, we never had a shot.
Calvi went to the runoff. And
yeah.
Like, the problem was once he got to the runoff, it was like.
Well, I remember on election night when Langford actually won, all of the commentary was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna fix it. He's a good evangelical, all this stuff." He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he has.
He hasn't done anything that I think is positive.
He's done a whole lot. You know what he's done? Climb the ladder. Yeah. And not that I don't like him as a person. Like, I've been around the guy multiple times, but he's a decent person. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just like.
I think we should get back on topic.
All I'm saying is that people that make history make waves, and Langford is not one of them.
Yeah.
He's on the Senate Intelligence Committee for a reason. You get there two ways.
You know what happens when you get on the Intelligence Committee?
You're gone.
Well, yeah, but you're never getting out of office. I mean, you're there until you want to be gone.
Well, yeah, because you're gonna skiff with classified information.
Yeah.
You can accidentally leak to a reporter.
Well, I mean,
James Langford will be Senate whip one day.
Yeah. I'm just saying, once you get on the Intelligence Committee, you're never going to be unseated. That's just the way it is. Look at the senators who are there. They've been there for a while.
I actually have a theory about Langford.
I've heard lots of theories on Langford, and
He's a nice Mike Pence.
I can believe that.
Somebody will pull him for VP.
And I've seen that happening for a while. I mean, obviously he's climbing the ladder.
Yeah, he's on the Senate Intelligence Committee. He's a good guy. Somebody like Trump's going to come around in 4 to 8 to 12 years. And they're going to need somebody for the vote to pull the evangelicals. And who's better to pick than the guy that ran the biggest evangelical church camp in the world?
You know what's going to happen to make sense for that?
What?
Oklahoma's going to have to become a battleground state.
Close already.
It's moving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got one.
Okay. I'm saying I'm friends with her. I'm going to friends with her. Do you think bias unseats one?
I don't know. I do not.
I want her to really badly.
See, I don't care one way or the other, and I don't know.
I know. A lot of my friends are like, she's one of
Well,
the biggest tax increase in Oklahoma history. I'm like, they didn't have a choice. And I get it. I I get it.
Well, it's not that. I mean, I just want you to understand.
I know.
Most of the representatives in Oklahoma, I don't care if they're elected or unseated or whatever. If I do care, it's because they lie. That's usually what gets me.
Continue.
Well, I haven't been watching Kendra Warner. I don't know what her thing is. You're asking me if she gets unseated.
Choking on Nancy Pelosi.
I don't know who wins that one. The Russell thing, I think, actually was, I don't want to say a fluke. That was a one-time thing.
No, I don't think it was.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, I've talked to people.
Russell did. Okay, here's the thing. Russell was going to retire in 2020. I didn't think he had anything. Didn't think he could lose in 18.
Yeah, I've talked to a number of people who said Russell just didn't do anything.
He didn't.
Which
he didn't show up. He didn't do anything.
And that's how you lose an election.
Like, he was still trying to be the guy who passed Saddam Hussein.
Yeah. Which
when nobody cares about that anymore. The funny part is, never mind. Nothing.
Okay.
That
I don't
gets
know.
into the realm of talking about private citizen, not a former elected official.
I don't know if Kendra Warner wins this one or not.
I mean, I hope she does it, but
I don't know. It's close enough that I could easily see her being unseated. I don't know. It's possible, but we'll just have to see.
yeah.
I do think it's going to be close.
Okay, here's the real question of today, whatever. Should Trump nominate somebody, and should there be a vote?
You're asking if I think they should.
Yes. Or is it hypocrisy if they do?
Well, back in 2016, there was a whole thing about we're going to let the next president decide.
I know that, but the situation's different. It's different.
It is.
The variables are different.
It is different because the current president is not term limited.
Yes.
That's the biggest difference. Like all that crap about like the Senate.
I know, but the current president is not term limited.
Yeah. Do I think they should nominate?
Should Trump nominate somebody, and should the Senate hold a confirmation vote on the floor?
Sure, why not?
Because I think they should.
Actually, yeah, they should. Ethically, I think they should.
Ethically, I think they should.
They should before the election.
Because Trump is not term limited.
But they're not going to do that.
I don't know. If you're playing political chess, don't do it before the election. You do it November 5th.
Yeah, that's what I think they're going to try to do, which I think is a terrible idea.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it's the only way you get the pro-life evangelical crowd to come out to vote.
I think it's playing chess. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that can go wrong.
Oh yeah.
There's
so much that can go wrong.
That is a colossal gamble, and I'm not just talking about the election. I'm talking about that window that we talked about. If you miss
that window, you're done.
Yeah, that could be really
because if you don't miss the window and you get it right,
yeah,
then the only option from the other side is to pack the court. And FDR, who was the greatest Democratic president of all time, got pushback about packing the court.
Yeah, it's a bold move, Colin.
Exactly. Like, that's it. Like, on political chess, this is the greatest thing. If you don't nail this perfectly,
it's the political gamble of the year.
It's the political gamble of the millennium. To the current point.
That's a big statement.
Since 2000?
Of the decade, definitely.
Ooh. Name a bigger political gamble since 2000.
I'm trying to remember in 2016. Oh, that was Gorsuch.
Yeah.
When was Gorsuch actually appointed? What was the date on that?
17.
So it was the next,
Yes.
next administration.
Because I can't remember the guy's
of
name.
course it was.
Obama nominated somebody and it shouldn't get a vote. I can't
Yeah.
remember the guy's name.
Obama appointed somebody from out west, I
Yeah.
think, and the guy that I was working for at the time, a lawyer, he actually wrote the guy a letter and was like, basically expressed his regrets that he didn't get the confirmation. And everybody else in the office was like, who's this?
Yeah. No, Obama appointed somebody or nominated somebody that didn't get a vote on the floor of the Senate.
I want to say, Garland.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Garland. Was it Merrick?
Yes, Merrick Garland.
Yeah.
But it's just, you're running to this point of going, it's a different situation. It's a different scenario.
Yeah.
There's different factors involved.
I think they should do that as quickly as possible, but they're not going to.
This is the point where it depends. This is
Depends on what. Oh, the gamble.
the gamble.
Yeah.
This is the point where it depends. It is the greatest political gamble since at least 2000.
Probably, yeah. I just hate political theater so much. Like you know that.
This isn't political theater. This is actual politics. Political theater was COVID. This is actual House of Cards gambles. You screw this up. You screw this up, you could lose the next 2 presidential elections, if not the next 3.
Okay.
Because it will all go back to
I'm just so surprised.
that moment.
I'm just so surprised that you still take politics seriously. Like I just look at this and I think, okay, these guys are going to play their game. Which
I don't take it seriously. I take the game seriously.
Yeah.
Not the outcome.
It's just very game. It's gamesmanship.
It's gamesmanship.
Which I hate it in politics. I just hate it so much.
It's because you want statesmen, not politicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you've been losing for about 200
I know.
years.
By the way, that's my favorite concealed insult that I'll ever give anybody.
What?
You're a really good politician.
Hey, you told me
It's not always necessarily.
that. Don't walk that back now, asshole.
Well, usually when I talk about politicians, I'll say they're a really good politician, but they're a horrible statesman.
Yeah. I try to be both.
Well, that's the thing. If you're both, that's actually not necessarily a bad thing.
I also lost a lot because I was both.
You were also able to leverage things before you lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were good at leveraging.
That's why I can't do that game anymore. Because I'm just like, I don't have the patience anymore. Like, get off my grass.
Get off my lawn.
Get off. Oh, like when they tore up the front lawn, my front yard did the right away.
Oh yeah. Forgot about
Like
that.
people do not understand how pissed I was. Then I realized that's part of the right of way, and I can't do anything about it. I was livid.
Local tax dollars work.
Oh, I was on the city council at the time too, and I was
fine.
like,
That's hilarious.
I didn't know they were doing it. And I walked out. There's a 4-foot trench in my front yard. I literally tried for a year and a half to get that Bermuda and that fescue line to just work perfectly, and they walked through and just trenched the shit out of it. And I'm like,
I'm just imagining you like in a bathrobe with your coffee, just like sitting there on the edge of this trench, just looking at it.
I was not in a
Did
bathrobe. I was in.
Oh my gosh.
I was in shorts and a t-shirt with my coffee cup, like my blue coffee. You know what coffee cup I'm talking about too.
Did you also have a newspaper in your hand?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I had a phone in my hand.
Sorry, I forget. Modern newspaper.
Modern. I may or may not have been probably reading the news on my phone.
Yeah.
And I literally, like, my blue coffee cup that used to sit in my, like, you know this coffee cup. Because it changes colors when I put coffee in it.
Yeah.
And I walk out there and I'm like, what in the hell is it? And at the time, I was working night, so it's like 4 in the afternoon, but it is my 4 in the morning, and I walk outside.
You were. Oh my god.
What is that? Why is my front yard torn up?
You are the stereotypical 45-year-old.
I don't care. Don't wreck my lawn. So the next house is a quarter mile off the right of way. Right of way. You don't have a right of way. Get off my lawn.
It's like something off of King of the Hill. Like, I'm really worried now.
I've been compared to King of the Hill before.
I'm worried what character I correspond to if I'm hanging out with you.
Oh, you're totally pooping out.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Boomhauer?
Oh, yeah.
Yelling, yo.
Exactly. You're totally pooping.
Gosh.
Screw up your tagline. Tell people where they can find you on the only social media that hasn't banned you yet.
I'm on the Twitter at the Lucas Cohen. You want the tagline now or do you want it at the end?
Oh, I'm on everything else. It's because I haven't been banned yet.
I'm enjoying my forced exile.
Shut up. That's like people saying, yeah, I enjoyed prison. It was a vacation. You know how you know they were married? Anyway.
3 hots and a cot. I have so much more free time. Well, I don't. I've used that time for other stuff now.
I'm on everything else. I'm Greg Jangle, Jerry G. J. I-N-G-L-E. You can find me on basically anything, from Facebook to YouTube to Instagram. I am on literally everything. Also, Qualified Immunity Podcast. It's on Apple, it's on Stitcher, it's on Spotify. It's on every major podcast distributor out there. Like it, just subscribe to it, review it. We can only go as far as you let us go, and we're trying to go as far as we can. That being said, this is the point where he screws up his tagline.
Football, Blue Gold, JoJo 2020. Hashtag Joe not Joe.
Almost done. I end this the same way every single time, and I will end it again. The quote and the theme of my favorite music festival in the entire world, which is Tomorrowland. Live today, love tomorrow, and unite forever. Till Bahala, guys.